This show powered by AgriGold for Central Illinois, your AgriGold reps Brett Lahr. He is your AgriGold reps for Central Illinois. Today's edition of Back Roads of Illinois. We were Central Illinois agriculture source, and in the Midwest alongside in Central Illinois agriculture, we were glad you're here on a Thursday. We were talking about the farm economy with Gary Schnitke from the University of Illinois Extension and the election as well. Then we'll talk about the commodities markets with Matt Cruz from Comstock, and we'll be talking about the fair season in LaSalle and Bureau. Putnam Counties with Market Coordinator for the University of Illinois Extension in LaSalle and Bureau. Putnam Counties with Karina Delgado. Yes, it's my sister. She is great. Otherwise, this time is for your agricultural news and markets update sponsored by AgriGold for Central Illinois. We have soybean export to China for 132,000 metric tons of soybean. The markets are trading down near $9. 98 The markets is watching for the presidential election for next Tuesday night. The wheat quality looked bad for Southern Plain because of the weather in Oklahoma and Kansas. Nebraska as well. The wheat markets is continue reading at $5.75. Today is Halloween. You know that kids are going to be trick-or-treating. The price of cocoa is high in the markets, so chocolate is higher because the crop in Africa. They are in drought in Central Africa. We were talking about the farm economy with Gary Schnitke from the University of Illinois. Stay tuned on Back Roads of Illinois, sponsored by AgriGold for Central Illinois. This is your opening bell numbers of the commodity markets from Kyle Bumstead from Allendale. And corn futures are up at 5 to 10 quarter. Soybean futures are up at 5 to 6 cents. Wheat futures are down at 5 to 10 cents at the exchange. This is your livestock markets update sponsored by Kyle Bumstead from Allendale Incorporated. Cattle futures are up at 3 to 5 quarter. Feeder cattle are up to 9 to 5 quarter. Lean hogs are down at 4 to 6 cents at half. Crude oil are up to 9 to 10 cents per barrel. Dow Jones finished in up 2 points. Get the most for every acre with AgriGold seeds for your field. You can visit our website at agrigold.com or call your local retail dealer today. AgriGold choose seeds for Central Illinois. This segment is provided by AgriGold for Central Illinois. Otherwise, we are watching for the presidential election. You know that, but what is the affected by the farm economy? We were talking about it with Gary Schnitke from the University of Illinois Extension in Urbana and Champaign. How are things in Champaign?
They are going very well for me, Caesar. It's been a Beautiful fall. We're getting a little bit of rain now, and I think we do need the rain because it's very dry here, as it's probably all across the state. But it's been a good fall, and it's been good for me.
Now, we were talking about the farm economy for right now. What is your takes on the farm economy with the election?
Yeah, that's a good question. The results of the election probably will not impact immediate farm economic results. Which one of the two candidates will get elected could impact longer run things. Trump has his policies, which do include tariffs. Those tariffs could be detrimental for agriculture, but we'll wait and see what those look like. Um, Harris and her administration would be likely more administrative oriented, probably be more intent on regulating pesticides, for example, than a Trump administration. And they have their own trade policies, which could have a detrimental impact on agriculture. So it's sort of a pick your medicine going into the farm economy, but I don't really believe that either one is going to have an impact on prices in the next 6 months to a year.
Do you have some concerns about these tariffs?
Yes, obviously, we have concerns about tariffs. Much of the U.S. Production is exported. For example, as 40% of soybeans are 40 to 50%, getting closer to 40% of soybeans are exported. So anything that impacts, for example, exports will have a negative. If it's a negative impact on exports, it's likely to have a negative impact on prices.
Do you have farmers to call you about the 45Z models with a substantial fuel aviation for right now?
Yeah, getting aviation fuel would be a good thing, and we're hoping that that does occur in the future. Um, that seems to be a ways off, one way or the other, so that's not likely to impact prices right now. But aviation fuel, it would be a net plus for the agricultural economy. So we would like to see that, and it would be a way to sustainability, more sustainability. That would be in particularly valuable if we do see more of a move to electric vehicles, EVs, and the decline in gasoline and ethanol consumption uh, that could happen from that. Fascinating as well. I actually view agriculture as pretty sustainable right now. If we look at Illinois corn and soybean production, we could see that being sustainable and, for a very long time. I view the efforts in regenerative agriculture, sustainable agriculture as more or less continuous quality improvement. Anything that we can do to reduce soil erosion is a good thing. We got to keep that obviously in line with profitability. If we can sequester carbon and have appropriate levels of payments, that would be a good thing. And if we can use cover crops and change nitrogen practices so we have less nitrogen runoff, that also is a good thing. All those are good things, and how we label it, sustainability, regenerative agriculture is up to the individual. I personally view it as mainly a continuous quality improvement in the Midwest agriculture system.
Gary, I am interested about federal crop insurance on the Farm Bill and Farm Safe Net. What are the risks for income net if the Farm Bill do not pass for this year?
So, the crop insurance program will continue whether or not the farm bill passes or not. So, um, farmers don't have to worry about 2025. The crop insurance programs that currently are in place will be in place for 2025. The only real, well, there's a lot of changes, but one of the real changes will be the increase in subsidy levels for ECO and SCO. We'll see what farmers do about that when they make decisions in March. But the safety net is going to be there for crop insurance with or without farm bill passing. Um, the only the farm bill passing will have much more of an impact on commodity title programs, and those we don't know what those will look like yet for the 2025 year. And we'll see what the lame duck session does, and they will have to do something, either extend the current farm bill or pass a new one, and we'll see what they do.
What is the percentage of the crop insurance for this year?
So for corn and soybeans in the Midwest, in Illinois in specific, close to 90% of the acres in Illinois and on both corn and soybeans are insured. Most of that insurance is done with revenue protection, RP, and it's done at relatively high levels. In the central part of the state, 80 and 85%. We're seeing some continued use of ECO and SCO, and again, we will likely see an uptick in those as RMA has announced that the premium subsidies on those will increase.
Finally, what is the forecast for acreage report from Brazil's soybean production from Brazilian Canva?
Yeah, they are projecting increases in acres for next year. It's going to be, um, according to their projections, it's going to be a slower growth year than other years, but we're still predicting acreage to go up. So, we're likely to see further increase in acreage of soybeans, and the projection would be for 117 million acres for 24 and 25 this coming year, up from 114 for 23, 24.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks for having me, and you have a good day.
That's Gary Schnitke from the University of Illinois and College of Agricultural and Consumer Environment Sciences in Urbana campus on Back Roads of Illinois. Thanks to Gary Schnitke from the University of Illinois Extension in Urbana and Champaign. We were talking about the commodities markets with Matt Cruz from Comstock. The harvest season is almost done in the Midwest. We are watching for the corn yields in central Iowa. Here's Matt Cruz. How is the corn yields for in the field for corn harvest?
Well, overall, I think they're doing pretty good. Apparently, the USDA is projecting record yields for this year, and there's still talk that they might increase the corn yield projections in coming WASDE reports. So, I think a lot of that's probably centered in the Eastern Corn Belt. I think, Illinois is going to set a yield record by far. They're talking about 225 bushels for the state of Illinois, and so it's pretty amazing. Iowa is going to do well as I think too. Heard in Northeast Iowa was hearing yields at 270 bushels per acre, so it's pretty impressive. And unfortunately, I was in my farm is in Northwest Iowa, which got hit by the flooding, so um, we didn't get to participate in the high yields this year. But I suppose we're somewhat of an anomaly up there. We apparently it wasn't a big enough area to matter to the markets, but by and all, I think people are pretty happy with the yields. They're just disappointed with the commodity markets.
Let's start with our conversation about the corn market for right now with tariffs and the world events. Could you tell our listeners about these commodities markets?
Well, I think that we're obviously markets have come down quite a bit since last year, the last couple of years, and to the point where I think they're below the cost of production for a lot of farmers. I think for me, my farm, I know it costs at least $1,000 an acre to plant corn, and so you need if you're gonna with an APH of 200, you need $5 cash just to break even. And right now the CBOT is at 410. And now you know so it depends on your basis as well. There's a lot of places that are under $4. And so it's pretty bad if you didn't have anything hedged or priced ahead, kind of looking forward here. I think there's reasons to believe that we're starting to form a bottom here in the corn. We're a little bit more optimistic because what happens is as prices fall, demand picks up, right? Because the grain's cheaper for end users, and so then they end up buying more than what they otherwise would have. And so that helps, form a bottom. But I think it's probably going to be a slow grind higher. But we are looking for some post-harvest kind of midwinter rallies to take place. Exports have been very strong. I was looking this morning, that ethanol consumption for the marketing season is 2.9% higher than last year, but it's still early, of course. But and so if ethanol is making money, they're going to be keep buying more corn and want to produce more ethanol. And so I'm not quite as positive, however, on the soybeans, just from what we're hearing in South America and their big soybean crop that's being planted right now. For so long now, I think the market just kind of considers it noise, maybe, but it's just going to kind of go back to looking at what the fundamentals are, and the fundamentals are that we're producing a lot of oil, a lot of crude. We've continue to maximize our production here in the United States. We're producing more than we've ever produced before. Gas prices are now starting to, in some areas, falling below $3 a gallon at the pump. And so, you know, you're maybe kind of coming into a seasonal period in the year where there's not much transportation consumption of fuel, and so that might hurt things a little bit. But the last report I saw was that stocks fell a little bit more than what they're expected, and so I don't see anything to kind of push us out of this range. We're kind of trading between 65 and $75 uh, per per barrel right now, and the long-term range we've been kind of trending lower, from kind of the last 6 months. And so, that nothing I see is, maybe going to change that other than just fundamentals. And I think, they're going to continue to want to produce as much oil in the U.S. as possible. We'll kind of see what happens.
Do you see increasing the demand for cattle with inflation, especially in this holiday season coming up?
I think for a long time I've thought that, that because beef prices at the grocery store are extremely high. And I kept thinking that there's going to be some sort of demand destruction there, and it just hasn't really materialized. There's still strong demand for it, but yeah, one would have to think that we're at a point here where it can't really shoot much higher, and we're gonna start to plateau. It doesn't mean that the market has to collapse. I think the fundamentals for it are still strong. Um, herd levels are still down. But I think if anything, for something to really spook the cattle, there has to be some sort of kind of outside market or black swan event that happens, whether it's some disease or embargo or something like that, that really spooks the market. But because otherwise the underlying fundamentals seem to be strong yet. Um, and the general trend remains intact, of kind of a slow, steady grind higher. But but yeah, that's kind of where that's at. I think the inflation is tough, but it's been tough for a while, and people still seem to be buying beef. So
Do you have any final thoughts or recap of our conversation about the corn yields and demand for beans?
well, I don't know that my opinion matters too much. I think the biggest thing is the elections coming up here next, what is it, Tuesday on the 5th. I think who our next president will impact things quite a bit, in terms of their policies. And um, I don't know that Kamala presidency is going to do us any favors. But Trump has not, made it a secret on his intentions to kind of increase or boost the tariffs with China and kind of accelerate the trade wars. And that didn't work out too well the last time. I think markets fell pretty hard, and I think Brazil benefited from that. And so I just see more of the same. Now I realize that uh, Trump sent some market facilitation payments. I don't know if people remember those, the MFP payments that kind of stymied the loss a little bit, but I also, speaking for myself, don't want to, have to rely on government welfare to stay in business. We got to be able to make money on our own, and so I don't know if that's what people have in the back of their mind, but the his current situation isn't great right now. It's kind of sitting on an edge, especially in the case of soybeans. There's an argument why soybeans can go down to $9 or even less, and trade war is just going to make that worse. So, I guess that's my concern there. Just that with the elections coming up, it's a more immediate concern right now.
Where people can find you for your consulting services in the Midwest and Central Iowa.
Yeah, they can go on our website at comstock.com, COMMSTOCK. You can look us up on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel called Comstock Channel as well, and seems to be pretty popular. So we have a marketing report that is available on our website, the Comstock Report, and we get a lot of more detailed marketing recommendations and specific sales targets, things like that.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Enjoy Kansas City.
That's Matt Cruz from Comstock on Back Roads of Illinois. We were talking about the fair season in my area in north central Illinois near Starved Rock State Park. We were going to talk about this fair season in LaSalle and Bureau, Marshall, Putnam counties. She is a market coordinator for the University of Illinois Extension in LaSalle and Bureau, Marshall, Putnam counties with Karina Delgado. Yes, it's my sister, but she is working with the University of Illinois Extension. How are you today, Karina?
I'm doing great, Caesar. Thanks for inviting me to your show.
Let's start with our conversation about the fair season in LaSalle and Bureau, Marshall, Putnam counties in north central Illinois. How was the fair season for this year?
4-H season was great. This was my first time actually going out to the fairs, and I had an opportunity to interview 4-H members and the volunteers. So it was a cool learning experience about, learning about members' projects, their 4-H experience, and why they love 4-H. But we can't thank our volunteers and 4-H team enough for this fair season. It was pretty great this year.
Who is going to get a chance to the state fair in Springfield?
Yeah, we did have many of our 4-H members go down to Springfield and present their projects.
Karina, could you explain to our listeners about your position as the market coordinator for the extension?
So with my position, I help Illinois Extension counties. So right now I'm serving Bureau, LaSalle, Marshall, and Putnam counties to market their programs. I create flyers, emails, press releases, social media posts, newsletters, and a lot more. I'm always creating content. It just varies on the day and time on what I'm creating.
What's going on for the extension in the winter months, especially in the 4-H?
Well, we have so much going on this winter season. You can find our latest programs at extension.illinois.edu/BLMP. Our 4-H programs are offering holiday workshops, and it is award season. Actually, we have Marshall Putnam Award Ceremony this Sunday, November 3rd, and we have LaSalle County's award ceremony on December 7th. We also have different kinds of gardening programs coming up in November in our local libraries. And our nutrition and wellness educator will be offering a holiday bite series. So there they will be talking about balancing calories during the holiday season. And then lastly, we do have a big agriculture event coming up, which is the Farmland Owner Conference. So land ownership, it's hard and frustrating for anyone involved. So this exclusive conference is created to provide landowners and those involved in the ownership process with valuable knowledge, networking, and insights from the university and experts. So the Farmland Owner Conference will be on November 25th at Illinois Valley Community College in Oglesby, Illinois at 8 a.m. through 3 p.m. This is open to anyone. You can register or learn more at the go.illinois.edu/landowner2024.
Is there anything would you like to tell our listeners about the University of Illinois for the kids that they can join the 4-H?
Yeah, so you would have to contact your local county office. You can find all of that on our extension website. So if you are in the Bureau, LaSalle, Marshall, Putnam counties, you can go to extension.illinois.edu/BLMP. Otherwise, you can Google Illinois Extension and find more information from there.
Do you have any final thoughts or recap of our conversation?
Yeah, so check out our programs. We offer many programs. They're open to anyone. You don't have to be necessarily in our counties. So you can check it out on our website or on our Facebook at facebook.com/UIEBLMP. And if you would like to contact me directly, you can email me at kdelgado@illinois.edu.
Thanks very much.
Well, thank you, Caesar. Have a good day.
That's Karina Delgado from the University of Illinois Extension for LaSalle Bureau, Marshall, Putnam counties in north central Illinois. January feeder cattle $0.650 closing at $241.325. December live cattle $125 closing at $186.300. December lean hogs $575 closing at $183.800. December corn -0 single quote 6 closing at $4.10 single quote 6. January soybeans +3 single quote 2 closing at $9.94 single quote 4. December Chicago wheat -2 single quote 6 closing at $5.70 single quote 4. December KC wheat -6 single quote 4 closing at $5.69 single quote 2. Closing quotes provided by Kyle R. Bumstead Branch Office Manager Erickson, Nebraska 308-708-7340 Allendale, Incorporated. The risk of loss in trade. Thanks to our friends from Allendale for bringing the final numbers of trade. Thanks to all of our guests on today's program. Don't forget about the Markets Club podcast is aired on YouTube for this afternoon with John Heinberg from Total Farm Marketing and Donna Hughes from StoneX Financial. Matt Bennett from Ag Markets on the Markets Club podcast on YouTube. This been Back Roads of Illinois. I am Caesar Delgado. Have a great day.